So there are two restaurants that claim to serve the ultimate ribs. So today I'm going to be trying them both out to see who's best. So let's start off first with Frankie Benny's.
So I've recently had a couple of meals here at Frankie Benny's and really enjoyed them. So if they're anything to go by, I think I might enjoy the ribs too. I arrived pretty early, in fact, just as they were switching from their breakfast menu to their lunch menu. So I have the restaurant to myself, which I think means that my food should come out pretty quick. So let's get ordering. The menu is interesting as it's presented like a newspaper article with a main story on the front page and then the food on the inside. It was the same for their breakfast too. Is this a new thing or has it always been like that? I can't seem to remember. Anyway, they serve the usual American and Italian foods like pizza and pasta, plus the one I'm going for today, which is the smoky ultimate barbecue ribs, with a drink I ordered on the side, which was a Diet Coke. So let's have a quick drink before the food arrives. Right, so here is the smoky ultimate barbecue ribs. Is it just me, or does it not look as good as I was expecting? For ultimate ribs, I was expecting something amazing. Anywho, let's go through what's included. I went for the half rack of ribs, although you can opt for the full rack if you're more hungry than me. And that comes with a sauce on top. You get a portion of fries, and then a corn on the cob. A bit of a simpler looking plate of food, but let's dig in and try it out. I'm going to start off with the chips. They come skin on, they're a nice golden colour, maybe have some seasoning on them, I'm not too sure, but let's find out by trying one. Delicious! The outside is crispy, so you get a good crunch as you bite into it. You get that oily fried potato flavour too, and they're already salted, so you get that flavour as well. The inside is soft with a floury potato texture and taste. I thought there might have been some other seasoning on them, but there isn't, they're just salted. Either way, they're good chips. I have to try one of them out with the barbecue sauce that's on the ribs. It's just screaming to be dipped in it, so let's get a good layer and eat it. Fantastic! The sauce is thick and syrupy in texture, it's sweet and slightly smoky in flavour, it has that classic barbecue taste, and it goes well with the chip. Let's move on to the corn on the cob. The menu says it's Cajun grilled corn, and you can see some of that seasoning on it. I'm a big fan of corn on the cob, so can't wait to try this one. Let's just go ahead and do it. Delicious! Straight away you get the flavours of the seasoning, it's got a strong garlic flavour, a bit of paprika in there too, and maybe some oil or butter adding a creaminess. The corn itself is soft and comes away from the cob easily as you bite into it and has that classic buttery smooth flavour. It's great corn. Right, let's move on to the main event of this meal, the smoky barbecue ribs. Ribs are another thing I really like, so this is just getting my taste buds going. The sauce is smothered all over the top. Let's cut off a piece to try. So to me, it doesn't look like it's been cooked with the barbecue sauce on it. It looks like the ribs were cooked and then the sauce is added after, although I could be wrong. It looks really appetizing either way, so let's just go ahead and try it out. Amazing! You get the barbecue sauce as soon as you bite into it. It's sweet and tangy with that thick texture that just coats your mouth with flavour. For me, it's just the right amount of flavour to go with the meat. Speaking of which, the meat itself is soft and really tender. It comes away from the bone easily. It still has a meaty chew, but breaks apart with not much chewing effort. You get a porky flavour coming through as well. For sure, it's not being cooked with any barbecue sauce on it, as the meat only has a porky flavour, but nevertheless, it's a great tasting rib and cooked really well. I need to combo up some of these bites. So this first one is the rib meat, which I've managed to cut off the bone, and I've put it with one of the crispy salty chips. Let's eat it. Delicious. I also want to get a combo with the corn too, but it's a bit difficult to get it onto my fork. So I think I'm going to have to eat the meat and chips first and then just take a bite out of the corn to make the combo. Here it goes. Incredible. The rib meat is so soft and tender, you don't really need to eat it off the bone. It falls away with your knife and fork easily, so you don't even need to get your hands dirty. I enjoy this meal a lot, but I do have one criticism. I think it was quite expensive for what you got. I'll reveal the price in just a second, but when the food came out, I expected it to be bigger. Maybe it's just the price of things in today's climate. Either way, I finished it all up in no time at all.
So that was a really nice meal. The ribs were really tender and soft, and the corn was delicious. So the total cost of all that food was £21. Let's move on next to TGI Fridays.
So TGI Fridays is the restaurant chain known as the place to go for American food classics, and one of those classics is the food I'll be eating today. They're always recognisable by the big red lettering and usually elaborate shop front signage, but this one is maybe a bit tame. Hopefully the inside will be a bit more extravagant. Let's head in. The inside is extravagant indeed. Check out the decor in here. You have loads of seating available, including tables and chairs with a lot of booth style seating dotted around the restaurant. There's a huge open bar area in the middle where I'm guessing they make your cocktails, although I won't be having one of those today. And then you have an open kitchen on the far side where you can have a sneak peek at the chefs making your food. The menu reads like a book with numerous pages of food options, from appetizers to starters, grills and chicken, and also burgers to name a few, each having pictures to tempt you into ordering the food. But we all know the food never looks like the pictures. Or will it? I'm going to go for the ultimate ribs. So let's see how good it looks when it comes out. I also got a drink on the side, which is a Diet Coke, because I am watching my weight after all with eating all this calorific food. So let's have a quick drink before the food arrives. Okay, so here is the TGI Fridays Ultimate Ribs meal I ordered. Let's have a closer look at exactly what's included. I went for the half rack of ribs, although you can opt for the full rack if you're really hungry. You get a big knife to help you cut it slotted just underneath. You get a small pot of coleslaw, a portion of fries in an open paper bag, a corn on the cob, and an extra little pot of barbecue sauce for dipping. Let's eat. I'm going to start off with the fries. They look pretty similar to the Frankie and Benny's ones. They're a good golden colour and feel really crispy too. Let's try it out. Delicious. The outside is crispy for sure. You get a nice crunch as you bite into it. They're already salted as well, so you get that flavour too, along with the fried potato taste. The inside is soft and fluffy with a subtle potato flavour. They're good chips. I have to try one with the barbecue sauce on the side, because after all it is provided so you can dip things in it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, and start off with a chip. Really nice. The sauce is sweet and tangy with a slightly smoky flavour. It is a bit cold though, so I think it's come straight out the fridge. I would have preferred it at room temperature. The texture is thick and syrupy, perfect for coating things that are dipped into it. It's a nice barbecue sauce. let's move on to the coleslaw. The amount you get is really small. It feels more like a garnish rather than an extra meal item. It's got all the usual coleslaw ingredients apart from a dressing or mayo. It doesn't look to have any sauce with it unless I'm mistaken. Let's try it and find out. Okay, so it definitely doesn't have any sort of sauce or dressing in it. It's basically the veg chopped up and put into a pot. What is the difference between a salad and a coleslaw? Because to me, this is a salad. If you know the difference, comment below. I'm going to try out the corn on the cob next. It's a side that I really like and think goes well with a lot of dishes. It's a nice bright yellow colour. Let's see how it tastes. Delicious. The corn is really juicy. You get an explosion of corn flavour as soon as you bite into it. It's soft with a slight chew and it comes away from the cob with ease. It is just plain corn though, no seasoning at all. I think a bit of butter or some sort of seasoning like they had at Frankie Benny's would have gone a long way. As it is though, just a plain corn. Right, it's time to try out the ultimate ribs. As mentioned, I went for the half rack, but you can get the full one if you're really hungry. It's a little too much for me today, so just the half is sufficient. It's got barbecue sauce all over the top. Let's cut off a piece to try. So these ribs look to have a bit more colour to them, even without the barbecue sauce. So maybe they've been basted while cooking. The meat looks super tender and the way the sauce is on it looks so appetizing. So without further ado, let's try it. Fantastic! You get the flavour of the barbecue sauce straight away. It's sweet and tangy. The rib meat is soft and tender. It falls away from the bone with barely any effort. It still has a meaty chew though and a subtle pork flavour. The meat doesn't taste like it's been cooked with any barbecue sauce, although the outside is more textured. It's nice, but one thing I would say is that it could have been a bit hotter. Right, it's combo bite time. This first one is the soft and tender rib meat, a crispy chip and a bit of the coleslaw. This should be a good bite, but first we need an extra dip in the barbecue sauce. Delicious! Ribs really are a great meat option. I think the fact that they're cooked on the bone keep them tender and full of flavour. And then when you add a sauce on top, it elevates it to a whole new level. The ultimate bite of this ultimate ribs meal is everything on the plate. I'm going to use the same trick as with the Frankie and Benny's meal and take a bite of the corn after the fork combo, just so I can get all the flavours. But first, we need a dip in the sauce. Amazing! This was a good meal, barring a couple of little niggles, which I would have expected to not be there considering the high price of this meal, which I'll reveal in just a second. Nevertheless, I finished it all up with combo after combo, without even having to get my hands dirty.
So that was a really nice meal. Again, the ribs were really soft and tender. So the total cost of all that food was £26.55. So which were the ultimate ribs? Comment down below which one you preferred. For me, let's go through each item. The ribs were about the same at both places, but I did slightly prefer them at Frankie and Benny's. The barbecue sauce was about the same, so were the chips, the corn, and that was definitely better at Frankie and Benny's. The Cajun seasoning made the difference. The coleslaw that you got at TGI Fridays were just a bunch of chopped vegetables, so they didn't make that much of a difference. So overall, based on that, and because it was a lot cheaper, I think I'm going to give this to Frankie and Benny's. Okay, if you like the video, click on the thumbs up icon below and click on subscribe to come along for the next food journey, and I'll see you there.